The Australian film industry is booming at the moment. Stars are heading down under for blockbusters including the next Thor film, Ridley Scott's Prometheus and Mel Gibson's Hacksaw Ridge. Why wouldn't they come here? And Hollywood mogul Brett Ratner says he wants to make as many Hollywood films down under as he can. Australian films are also more popular than ever. 2015 is an absolute record-breaking year at the box office. The success is set to be boosted even further by the new Kate Winslet film, The Dressmaker.
Myrtle Dunnage, you grew up.
You got old.
Myrtle Dunnage is back.
Haven't seen her since she was a kid. Wonder how she turned out.
How's my mother?
Molly doesn't get out much.
I don't know why you've come to this hole. Who lives at Mad Molly's now?
She's back. The murderess is back.
Yeah, it's getting rave reviews, raking it in at the box office as well. And Head of Business and Audience for Screen Australia, Richard Harris, joins us now. It looks like a wonderful film, The Dressmaker. Have you seen it yet?
I've seen it like 3 times.
3 times
Yeah.
already? You're a convert.
I saw it in Toronto as well, where it absolutely smashed it at the film festival there. It was fantastic.
Yeah, the critics are loving it too. So why is 2015 such a successful one for Australian films? What is it that's capturing the imagination of audiences?
Yeah, I think it's the stars are really aligned this year, but the great thing about it is that it's not just one film that's really worked, it's a whole range of films. And the best thing about it is all of those films were really clear about what their audience was, whether they were family films, whether they were Mad Max, or whether they were The Dressmaker or Last Cab to Darwin. They've all absolutely known what sort of audience they were heading for, and they've all really hit it.
And it's been across the genres as well.
Yeah.
Blinky Bill, I took my kids to see, which they really loved, and that was a good, strong Australian film too.
Yeah, and Oddball's gone over $10 million now. So this year we'll have 3 films, and once Dressmaker gets over 4 films over $10 million at the box office. It's kind of unheard of. We're in stratospheric territory.
Yeah, wow, unprecedented. So in terms of the key successes, Mad Max has been a real standout as well.
Yeah, Mad Max was fantastic. And actually the great thing about Mad Max is it's worked around the world, whereas some of, not the rest of the world may not be watching Oddball as much as Australians love Oddball, for example, but they will watch it. But Mad Max has gone absolutely nuts around the world, so that's really fantastic.
And that was tailored very much in its marketing to not just the Australian audience.
Yeah.
It was out there on the global market.
It was made to be a global film and look like a global film, very Australian, but also a global film. So that's really great. But it hasn't dominated the box office in the way that, say, a Happy Feet or a Babe may have dominated in the big years we've had previously. So it's performed really, really well. But actually, with all the rest of the films, it's actually just one of the great films that's getting us close. We'll be getting over $80 million at the box office all up, which is really
And that
amazing.
is the best year that we've seen?
We're already in best year that we've seen. I mean, you take a few things for inflation adjustment over the years, but really, just in pure dollar terms, we're already way up there. So, and we'll be taking more than $80 million, which the previous best in 2001 was 63.4. So we're really hitting it out of the park at the
Which
moment.
is interesting because of the economic times that we're in. I mean, going to the movies with a family, getting the popcorn, doing the whole shebang isn't a cheap exercise.
No.
You would think that perhaps in tight economic times people would pull back a little bit on going to the cinema.
I mean, the cinema going experience compared to other experiences is not a bad one. It's not a bad value.
Oh, it's great,
but absolutely you're right. And we actually put a paper out about 6 months ago talking about how right now it's the most challenging time in the cinema for Australian films we've seen. So to actually have this result in this year is even more amazing. And I think what it means is that the filmmakers now have to be really, really careful or really cautious about the sort of films they're making that are actually going to work in theatres. People will watch films on a whole range of platforms now, so we're still getting audiences, and Australians still watch television. Australian TV is really booming. Australian content across all platforms is really going well. But you're absolutely right. I mean, in a time when actually it's more challenging, there's less screens and bigger films out there to actually perform like this, we're really, really stoked.
So what are we doing right? Is it the marketing? Obviously, the quality of the films is integral to this, but there's all the peripheral stuff too. Have we grown up, as it were, in the way that we're selling these films? Yeah,
it's a bit of that. I think it's also, there's one thing to have great films, and we've always made great films, and the last few years we've had some really great films. But you've got to make the right film, and the theatre now, people, like you said, people to actually make that decision to go out into the cinemas, pay babysitting and parking and all the rest of it, you've got to have a film that's going to actually deliver. And so what it means is that all of these films this year were absolutely really clear about that. So it's a real lesson for filmmakers to say, if you want to get those cinema audiences, you've got to be really, really focused as to what sort of film you're making.
So we've got a couple of months till the end of the year.
Yeah.
How much do you think we will have raked in by the end of 2015?
Well, it depends on how The Dressmaker goes. That's the last big one. But it's looking well over $80 million, and there's a few bits and rats and mice to come as well. But that's a really great result for us. And Dressmaker at the moment, it's just done $7.4 million in just over a week, which is just crazy business.
Yeah.
So who knows what it's ultimately going to take? It's going to take 10. It could take 15. I mean, if it goes in Red Dog territory, it's taking 20. So it's at the moment, it doesn't seem like it's stopping. So
champagne corks will be popping.
Well, it really is amazing, and you have to see it just literally for Judy Davis's performance. I mean, it's an amazing film.
It's a great cast. Everyone is raving about it. I'm going to go and see it pretty soon as well.
Okay.
Good on you. Thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.